Yakadi, Dumelan, Igamalami, Jingu, Shana, Luwahang, Maposa. And guess what? I'm black and beautiful. Happy Family Day and welcome to Bring On the Sunshine Day 2. With Bring On the Sunshine, we learn that Black history is African history, is world history. Up next is story time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bring Us the Sunshine Day 2, the second edition. Are you guys ready for Bring On the Sunshine Day 2?
I don't know. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm definitely ready. What's
Sure.
wrong with you?
I'm kind of sleepy right now, you know?
Oh, come on. Cheer up. It's the second day of Bring On the Sunshine.
I know. Yesterday was so much fun. There was so much to do. I danced so much today. I just feel like I'm going to sleep.
Okay. Well, here's an idea. How about you tell us a story and then you can sleep right afterwards?
Really? Then I can go to sleep soon after?
Yeah, you can go to sleep. I promise.
All right, sounds like a deal. Let me tell you the story about the first time I went hunting.
No.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to wake up here. Trying to drive sleep away. It's midday after all.
Yeah.
Okay. It was. I don't know if I want to tell you that.
Oh, come on.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
So, and my uncle and my cousins decided, today we're going hunting.
For what?
Pigs. And anything we could find, really.
Okay.
And they said, we're taking you along. I said, for the what? I don't want to go hunting. I said, oh, no. Come on, we're going. I think I was about maybe 11 or 12, thereabouts. Going hunting for real first time. And I thought, okay, all right, I'll go. Let's go. And I thought we were going in the afternoon, eh? No, everybody's just lounging around, just like they're not even thinking of going hunting. So I went up to my uncle and said, are we not going hunting? And he goes, yeah, we will. I said, so how will we see the animals? If we don't go right now, in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's too hot. We'll go later. So I thought, all right, we'll go later. And then later came, and we still ended up going.
You guys even go at all?
Yeah, eventually, when it was nighttime, and I was so scared. So scared. I told my cousin, I don't want to go.
It is nighttime, so
Yeah, right?
it's understandable.
Nighttime. I don't want to go. And he started laughing at me. You're afraid of the dog? I said, no. I'm afraid of the animals in the forest.
Yeah.
Lions, leopards, hyenas. And we're going in the forest at night.
Yeah.
They always told me not to go in the forest at night. And now they're telling us, let's go out at night. Imagine that.
Yeah.
First time to go hunting and they want to take me hunting at night.
I wouldn't go.
I said, no, I don't think I want to go. I really don't want to go. And my cousin kept on laughing. I said, I don't care. You can laugh as much as you want. I'm not going. I wasn't going.
But you didn't. You just said that was your first time hunt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was my first time. Okay, I did go. finally, because my uncle told me if I didn't go, there was no breakfast in the morning. I said, say what? He goes, well, because everybody will be gone and there will be nobody to make breakfast. I said, but where will Auntie be? And I said, oh, Auntie is going away this evening to the next village. I said, well, I can go with this. Oh, no. Tonight is a meeting for ladies only, so you can't go. So you see, I had to go hunting. I really had to go hunting.
Well, did you get anything?
Well,
What did you get?
It turned out to be a funny hunt. So where we were walking, Uncle way in the front, my older cousin, and then me, then my other older cousin behind, because they had me in the middle. I was the scaredy kid. We were walking. I was holding a big stick with a huge head at the top. We call it a knob carrier, right? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to use. If something comes at me, I'll pound it. Just pound it. So I felt good.
Okay, and then?
Okay, oh yeah, into the forest we went. And past one river that I always would go swimming in and also to take a bath. So we're still pretty close to home. I was comfortable. And we kept on going.
Yeah.
And going and going and going.
Did you find it? Any animal?
Yeah.
You
We
didn't get
found cows and goats and chickens. Nobody goes hunting for cows and goats and chickens.
But cows are yummy.
I know, but we don't have to hunt for them, right? But eventually we did come across some wild pigs. Now the hunting started. The hunting really started when we came across the wild pigs at night. You know, wild pigs have got this they're called warthogs, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got these teeth that are showing on the outside. But apparently they're very tasty. But it's at night. Wild pigs. Smack dad ran into a whole bunch of them. And I thought we were going to catch them. But you know what happened instead? My uncle was gone.
Where did
And I
you-
thought, wait a minute. You ran away. And so did my cousin. And I was right behind them. So instead of going hunting, we were running away from the pigs. Guess who? The guys who went hunting were hunted by the pigs.
Yeah.
That was my first experience hunting. I had to run away from the meat that we were going to hunt. Do you think I ever went hunting again?
No.
Exactly. I will not go hunting for pigs. I won't. And nobody can make me.
Okay, well,
But I'll take you hunting for pigs.
I mean, you're probably going to end up running away again, but
Yeah, you never know. Maybe this time is different. You'd want to go.
right.
Maybe we'll take you hunting for pigs. I tell you, it's an adventure like you've never had before. As long as you can run very fast and climb very fast.
And if you can't do either of those,
I don't know, because I climbed fast. So I don't know.
oh well. Why don't you tell us another one?
You said if I told you just one story, I could go to sleep.
Okay, one more.
Really? Can I? You promised.
Just one, please. For everybody that's watching.
Maybe later. How about if I take a nap now, then maybe I'll tell you another story a bit later. Sound good?
Sound good.
Shake on it. You're not going to go back on it?
Black history is African history, is world history.
All right. So we're reading the Proverbs now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's not lick out fingers on TV. Okay, so it says, don't skip ahead. African proverb. Only a fool tests the depth of a river with both feet. Do you know what that means?
What do you think that means?
What do you think that means?
I don't know.
It's very practical. Can you imagine going into a river with 2 feet? What will happen if you go with 2 feet?
Then you sink or float.
You sink or float?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, so the next one. The best way to eat an elephant in your path is to cut him up in tiny pieces.
What do you think that means? I mean, what do you think it
Do you
means?
want to cut an elephant up in tiny pieces?
To eat it?
Yeah.
No one eats elephants.
No one eats elephants,
No.
but that's a good one. Like, yeah, you gotta eat a bite at a time. Okay.
So, next. Hey, you skipped a page.
No, I didn't. Okay. Not everyone who chased the zebra caught it, but he who caught it chased it.
What do you think it means?
I think chased is not everyone who chased the zebra caught it, but he who caught it chased it. You should at least try, I think. Because if you don't chase the zebra,
Then you'll be dead.
no, then you don't catch it.
Oh, then you don't catch it. I didn't know that.
Okay. Don't set sail using someone else's star.
What do you think that means? It means.
Don't steal other people's ideas.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, how do you know it's right? Avoid copying someone else. Just because someone has been successful at what he does doesn't mean you should do the same thing and expect to be successful. Okay.
But why doesn't it say what do you think it means?
Because this is just the explanation.
Uh,
Those were pretty cool, weren't they?
yeah.
Awesome.
Next, we have DJ Carol doing a magic show.
Hi, welcome to the Theatric Studio, right here in the heart of Elmira. We've been busy all year getting ready for virtual festivals, just like you're seeing right here. So today, my job is to show you some magic, maybe teach you a little bit, but we're gonna have a lot of fun. With a tennis ball? Why don't we do a little bit of card magic? Make a couple cuts. Now this card right here, 9 of hearts. It's not a trick for me to figure out what the card is. This is for you to watch to see if I can find the card again. Right here on top. What do you think? Right there on the bottom. In the middle. Right there on top. Right there on top again. Just a little bit of fun we have here at the Theatrics Studio. Sometimes we work with larger props that will eventually be used for the stage, but we do try them out up close first. Just taking a baking pan you might find in the kitchen, and all you have to do is put it down like this, give it a little shake, and we've got a golf ball and a handkerchief. What can you do with a golf ball? Looks like a mini putt golf ball and a handkerchief. Well, let me show you exactly what we can do. I'm going to take the handkerchief, and you can see it's just like a bandana that you can get at the dollar store. Okay. And yeah, yellow golf ball you get from the mini putt store, I guess. And all we're going to do is watch carefully as I have my golf ball. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to the handkerchief at the top. You can see now there's two. But wait, that's only half the trick. Just watch what I'm going to do with the two. I'm going to take the handkerchief and put it across like this. And now there's only one. Now you might be thinking, oh, I got it. He's hiding stuff in the handkerchief. Yeah. Okay, let's try without the handkerchief. Okay. So I got my golf ball right here. Now watch carefully. Okay. All I'm gonna do is reach like my hand in front like this. Okay. You can see now there's two, just like that. Now you might think, okay, there's two. How did you do that with your hand? Well, watch carefully. I'm gonna take it away, and if you watch really carefully, you'll see exactly what I'm doing. You can see I reach in here. I take a ball away in this hand here, okay? I take a ball away over here, and I toss it to the side so you don't see it. When I want to bring it back, all I'm going to do is I got the ball over here, okay? I come back here, and I put it in place, just like that. When I disappear, I take the ball out, okay? It doesn't matter where I throw it. I can throw it over there, and it's gone. Now you might say, hey, could we slow it down? Absolutely. Let me show you what it looks like in slow motion. Watch carefully. One ball. I go really fast and grab the second ball. Put it there. Now there's two. Okay, so you can see now there's two. And let me reverse it in slow motion and make it vanish, okay? Here we go, slow motion. And throw it. Okay? So that's how it's done, is magicians, we move faster than your eye can see. We're gonna try something here. For the last two magic tricks, these are normally ones that are done on a big stage, but we've been practicing trying to create something a little bit more intimate for video, but also for smaller family shows. So I'm gonna need your help with this next one. We are going to try to get this ball to jump into the cup. but I'm going to need your help. So, if you have a computer screen in front of you, a TV, or you're watching this on your phone, whatever, I want you to take your finger and I want you to touch where the ball was. And I want you to take your finger and trace up and over to where the cup is over here, okay? And if you can do that for me, I think we might see something happen. I'm not sure what, but let's take a look and see if you're able to help us do the magic. What? There we go. So, you doing a little bit of magic from home can help us out build our show. Well, it's time for our final trick, and it involves this magic hat. And like all magicians, I have a rabbit that lives inside this hat. But this rabbit moves really fast, and he moves so fast it's hard to see him sometimes, and he likes to play games. Now, when you play a game, what do you have to roll? You roll a dice or a die, that's what one dice is called, and this rabbit likes to play a game. Now, I'm going to take this dice or die and I'm going to put it inside the hat, okay? Now watch what the rabbit is going to do. The rabbit is going to take it from this hat and put it back inside the box. He's going to take it from the box and put it inside the hat. But wait, that's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Went from hat to box. Oh, you'd like to see it again. Okay, sure. Okay, watch carefully. It goes from the hat. Whoosh, into the box. Whoosh, back to the hat. Yeah. Still not convinced. I think you caught me. You're right, there's no rabbit. I was just trying to fool you, but let me pretend that I am the rabbit, okay? And I'm going to show it to you going in the box, okay? So I'm going to be the rabbit. So here I go. Ready? Ooh, like that, okay? And I put it inside the box. But watch. It's gone. Oh, you said look inside. Absolutely. See, I told you, it's gone. What? Oh, look in the other door? Sure. I told you, it's gone. No, seriously, it's gone. No, it is gone. We can do this for another 20 minutes, I guess, right? It's gone. Oh, open both at the same time. That's what, okay, absolutely. See, I told you, both doors open. It is what? Whoa, hold on. You want to see all of the doors open? Okay, you've been really good so far. I'm going to open up one. I'm going to open up two. I'm going to open up three. Okay, I'm going to open up all four doors. I told you, when you're not looking, the rabbit is going to put it back in the hat, just like that. Thank you for being part of our show. Hopefully I'll see you guys later. Check out our website for upcoming shows and also your very own lessons.
Hi, I'm Bardish Chager. Welcome to the first ever virtual Bring on the Sunshine. Thanks to the amazing team who has brought us together, as well as to all involved, including volunteers, performers, sponsors, supporters. You are wonderful, and I am grateful to you and for you. As the Member of Parliament for Waterloo and the Minister of Diversity and Inclusion and Youth, the Bring on the Sunshine team has sent me 3 questions, and I'll do my best to answer. Number 1, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted everyone, and disproportionately certain segments. So if I could choose a superpower right now, I'd pick telepathy, because mental health is real, and then I could help those suffering in silence. Or if giving peace could be a superpower, I'd consider it, because there is too much anger and hate in the world. Peace and love conquer fear and hate, and this power could make the world even better, faster. Number 2, if I could travel to the future, I'd pick a time post-pandemic, so that we can all be united again. I miss being with all of you, and I don't mean virtually. Number 3, though I like being a Homo sapien, if I had to be an animal, I would pick either a beaver, because they are hard workers and dedicated to doing the job right, or an elephant, because they're strong and great leaders. Elephants usually stay in small groups and are extremely loyal to those around them. Now, it's your turn. Since we are at a virtual Bring on the Sunshine, use the comment section and tell me what superpower you would want to have and why. I also would like to know what animal you would want to be. I can't wait to read your answers. I hope you're all keeping well and safe and that we get to see each other soon again. Happy Black History Month and happy Bring on the Sunshine.
Thank you, KW Community Foundation, for supporting the work of Bring on the Sunshine.
Hi there, my name is Laura May Lindo. I am your member of Provincial Parliament for Kitchener Centre. I am so excited to welcome all of you to Bring On the Sunshine. Woo! Bring on the sunshine. Yeah, bring on the sunshine. I am missing you folks something fierce. You don't know how much I love this festival. All of my jewelry comes from there. This head wrap probably came from there. I have to tell you, I wish that we could be together, but just a little bit longer through this pandemic and we will come out safely on the other side. That said, nothing will stop us from celebrating together. Bring On the Sunshine is so important to our community. And now, I believe I was actually asked 3 questions. 3 questions, my friends, you say? Okay, number 1, what superpower would you have and why? You know what? I would love the superpower of love. You know what that means? It means that anytime I see somebody feeling blue, I would be making sure that they are surrounded by love, care, and compassion. And anytime I see somebody that's sort of misusing their powers, not using them for good, I would redirect them with love, care, compassion. Theme, I think. There is a theme in this, my friends. If you could travel to the future, how far would you go? That's such a good question. You know what? To be honest, it's Black History Month. I don't think I want to travel to the future. I would like to go to the past. I would love to have a conversation with Malcolm X. Like, I'm not even joking. That would be a dream conversation. And I would also love to have a conversation with Prince. That's right. You heard it here. I still love me my Prince. And what animal would you be? What animal would you want to be the most? I would want to be a cheetah. Cheetahs are so fast. I don't know what it is about me and the cheetah, but I just think that they're so beautiful and elegant and fast, which is super important when people are coming at you. You want to be fast. You want to save yourself fast. That's it for me. For all of you, though, enjoy Bring On the Sunshine. Enjoy the moment. Celebrate. Pray for more sun. And we will be together soon, my friends. Bye.
Thank you to the City of Kitchener for your continued support of Bring On the Sunshine Virtual Festival 2021. We truly appreciate it.
I hope everyone is having an awesome time already on the Monday, second day of Bring On the Sunshine. It has been awesome. 11th year. Wow. Well, in the 11 years that we've been in existence, we have also made partnerships across the globe. And right now, I'd like to speak to one such partnership that we've made, and that is the Plug movement in Southern Africa. They are about empowering the youth and identifying talents and helping them get as far as they can with that talent that they have. And this is the mandate of the Plug. And in connection or in partnership with us, Bring On the Sunshine, they've managed to do a number of things that they are very proud of and would absolutely love to share. And they would encourage you to visit the Bring On the Sunshine website. And from there, you may find links to get to where you can find the Plug and you can talk to them a little more. And in that vein, the Plug also works to get us, as Bring On the Sunshine, in touch with artists that are based in Southern Africa giving them a platform to showcase their art. And we have the fortune of having such an artist, Abel Mauchi. He is going to give us a spoken word in Shona. This is deep Shona. I'm very proud of it, and I hope you can hear the cadence and the sound. Just even if you don't understand the words, you can hear the emotion put into what he's talking about, which is his health that he's expressing to his loved one. And it's right at the end of it, I'm sure you'll hear mention of Bring On the Sunshine and the plug, and that's his thank you to being given the opportunity to connect with all of you. So, hey, some Shona spoken word.
Kurwara kwangu mai mwana uku izvo zvikuzamura kudai mutsipa iwoyu zvegumbo mambonzwa kugumwa gumwa hukuyarira iranga rochecheta nomuchidya umunda rara kwachena imarimwe zuro maiva mudumbu imi kuzvionera ndokuzotevera nhono nechirwere chokuwa idzungu rinonyanya chirimo nyenzedzorira itsvo vakati dzavorora kuchipatara ikoko ziso rakanobviswa pamugabe ipapa nzeve dzakatodzivira danidzira ndikunzwe imanga ndakazorapwa negirisi rengoro akapfupfunyukira nharo ndakanga ndavora chifuva chakatinhira zuro pandakambosvuta moyo ndakanovhiyiwa kurarama ndimwari mazino ndiwo mapfumbamwe ndakapfurwa nedhongi itarisa chigunwe ichi chandakatemwa nemwana musana unogaro dzimba ndakarobwa napanga kundijatira padurunhuru ndikakuvara marunda hauoni mavanga here awa muviri wongotsva iro vhudzi kusamera uku ndakatsva nemoto zvemabvi kumbondana ndakawa mumuti ropa ndakanotariswa wanei makubukasva sadza munotoita munyanza radzakabva chirebvu kusetsawo kumuchavhiwo pamaitori mandakaporomoka ndikatsimuka mupimbira iwoyo mamota handingamaravi angamira nemuro matatu motoshinga mai mwana ina handichina chimuko pano kuti munditi baba wangu wamurari wetsika dzedu urwere ndihwohwo wotongozvigamuchira zvako kurwara kwangu mai mwana uko ndikafa ndichazororaini nashefu mudesve Abel Mauchi manga muchimuziva here ndinonyanya kutenda zvikuru ve-the plug movement muno muzimbabwe kukwanisavo kuti vatikonekte kutipawo masimba avo okuti titaurevo neve Bring On The Sunshine vokucanada kuti tikwanise kutorawo pamhepo tichikwanisawo kuratidza zvipo zvedu. Aiwa, ini ndinonyanya kukudza zvikuru ve-Bring On The Sunshine vokucanada ava neve-the plug movement in Zimbabwe kuti vakomana vechidiki nevarume vakuru vanhukadzi vechidiki navanhukadzi vakuru varinyanya kubatsirikana kunyanyanya zvikuru namadhipatimendi maviri awa. Ndinoti Mwari ngaazviropafadze uye Mwari ngaave namadhipatimendi maviri iwawa nokusingaperi.
That was Abel, and thank you to that. I'll just translate the very last part. He said, I thank you so much, Bring On The Sunshine, and he thanks the Plug movement for connecting him to Bring On The Sunshine and have this opportunity to connect with everybody in Canada and worldwide that are listening to his spoken word. So I hope you can go and see whether you can find more of his spoken word and try to listen to more Shona spoken word. Next up, we have Alchemy. Now, this is a young and upcoming artist from Zimbabwe, and he's a lot of energy, I have a lot of love for him. So, introducing Alchemy again.
Hey everybody, it's Waterloo Mayor Dave Jaworski. I'm out here in our beautiful Canadian winter enjoying the sun. Bring on that sunshine. Now, congratulations to everybody for continuing on with this event and making it virtual this year. Really looking excited to tuning in. So I had a few questions here that I was posed. So if you could travel to the future, how far would you go? Well, I'd pick the year 2030. I know that's not far away, but neither is climate change, and we need to make big changes by 2030 to make sure we're on track to hit our climate change goals for 2050. So I'd want to check in 2030 to make sure that we don't need to make adjustments and take action quicker. Now, if I had a superpower, what would it be? The ability to make people laugh. That's the reason why I got this going, Waterloo, is so I can make people laugh or at least bring a smile to their face on Zoom calls. We're all really tired right now, but we need to push on through this COVID-19 pandemic, and maybe we get there with a smile. Now, what animal would I want to be? Well, definitely Canadian for sure. I'd want to be a Canadian animal, and maybe one that kind of looks like me. Maybe with a touch of gray, a nice gray animal, and maybe something with, I know, tusks. Beautiful white tusks, like the walrus. Yeah, so I guess I'd like to be a walrus. Now, Jan isn't really enjoying this right now, so I'm not sure how much longer I'll have it. But for now, I'll go with the walrus. So let's all bring on the sunshine, Waterloo region, and have a great time.
Hello, back again. The upcoming artist, best right here in Waterloo region. Amazing guitarist, like amazing. This is one thing I didn't know. I just actually found out that in 2012, this guy was chosen by the Mexican government to perform at the, I wouldn't want to destroy this name, but it was an international guitar festival representing Canada along 13 of the world's finest guitarists. Okay, he's my friend, and I didn't know that. Like, seriously didn't. So all I can say is sit back, relax, and enjoy an amazing, amazing, amazing artist. Junior. Hi.
Hi, my friend Nakaya. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm so excited for you playing right now. I know people out there are just sitting and wondering why I'm sounding and looking so excited. Well, you're about to play.
Man, I love you. I'm
You ready?
a huge fan of you. And I have to, I have to say, I follow Akaya, and if you don't know that, he's an amazing gardening, as well as his musicianship and his artistry. He's an incredible gardening, and he's like he's inspired me all these years, and I have my garden over there, and we just love you, man. We just love you. You're amazing.
Thank you, man. The floor is all yours now, and that's so exciting.
Thank you so much. I would like to start with this song because Africa is really dear to my heart, and I also belong to an organization called H2O Congo. If you would like to get information, you can definitely message me, and I'll let you know about what we do. And we are trying to change the world for the better, and we're trying to focus on problems that are happening in Africa and how we can solve them, how we can help, and how we can take the colonization part of our world, negative effects in Africa, turn them around and hopefully make it better for the humanity. And as I said, love is the only solution we can have, and we have in our hands, and music is one of the ways to present that love to you guys. And thank you so much for having me on this special and amazing festival. And I would like to start with a song I wrote for Africa, for Congo. It's called Dear Congo. Thank you so much again. And just wanted to add one more thing. Our MP, one of our MPs actually, Tim Lewis, he's an amazing jazz pianist, and he was just on the comments earlier. He actually played on this record on my album. And I just wanted to say hi to Tim Lewis. And then thank you so much, Akaya, and I love you all. And next we're going to have an amazing, incredible artist as well. And here's to you, Akaya.
Hello. Thank you, Jeanette out there. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Happy Family Day. I hope everyone is having fun and everybody's excited about day 2 of Bring On the Sunshine Festival. Well, today I'm just going to introduce the wonderful, the great Black Roots Marimba Band. They are awesome. They have all the energy. They're talented, creative, from Cape Town, South Africa. I mean, we have such a beautiful talent in Africa, and we thank you all so much for watching and being part of this festival today. The group play mostly for fun, with only one of them being professional musician. However, they all have the talent, right? So the music is a big part of everyday life in Southern Africa, and there is no shortage of talent. As you can see, since yesterday up till today, wonderful music, wonderful talent. So today, Black Roots Marimba are going to perform the gumbo dancing. Yeah, let's bring it on, everybody. Let's see how they do. Yes.
So right now I am joined by Zwanele. Zwanele is part of the Africa Dance Group, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the dance, where it originally came from, what the dance does, how it came to be in Africa, why it is called gumbo dancing in the first place. So, and there's something special about this. He's going to speak to you in an African language from the southern part of Africa called Xhosa. Xhosa is a native language for South Africa, and it is the Xhosa tribe itself is a native people of South Africa. So just listen carefully to what he says, and hopefully you can also pick up something. All right, so tell us a little bit more about gumbo dancing.
Okay, i-gumbo dance isukela kudala emigodini apho khona utata bethu babesebenza khona, besebenza ngamalahle, somba negolide. Ke apho emsebenzini ke ukugqithisa ixesha into babeyenza bethatha izixhobo zosebenza benze ngazo umculo, becula ke ingoma ezinje ngokukhumbula ifamily emvekhaya. Kusukela lapho ke nendlela babencokola ngayo kube bengavumelekanga ngapha ngaphansi kuba umsebenzi wakufunekanga. So beza ke ngone steps for baba communicate kuba izinhlobo ngenhlobo zabantu kwapha kunye nenhlobo lokuthetha if uvile pha ku chantings kunelwimi ngelwimi. So ke ndingathi ihlobo ababezonwabisa ngalo ize kanjalo ke igumbo dance ke kuhamba iminyaka wakho i-choreography nge-choreography.
It will just go.
Yeah.
Man, do you guys hear that? Like, this was a way to communicate. This was a way to pass time. This was a way just to entertain themselves in the gold mines. Like, that is an amazing history for such a rich heritage. I know that you guys must be wondering what gumboot dancing actually is. Like, why the word gumboot itself? So as you know, you might know them as Wellingtons, but here in Africa, Wellingtons are actually called gumboots because of how they are. Like, it's like a gum kind of material. So they are called gumboots here. You might know them as Wellingtons, and that's how the dance actually just came up to be named gumboot dances, because it can only be done if you're wearing Wellingtons. They bring out the sound, they bring out the rhythm, and imagine you're in a mine, like the perfect sound that comes from that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed everything that has come from us right now. I hope you enjoyed the dances. I hope you enjoyed the marimba. But now what we're gonna have, our brother here is gonna just show us just a little snippet of what you guys can also do at home. Like just a simple rhythm, a simple routine that you guys can also try at home. I don't know if you're gonna stand up now and do it with us, but yes, come, let's try it.
Okay.
Show us something, my brother.
Okay, okokuqala.
Yeah.
Isitishi sakho esi.
So
keep
let's
the
do
rhythm.
this first. Everyone come up and let's do it together. 1, 2.
So nisaya ku step 1 then sim. 1.
Okay. So I'm not wearing boots, but I'm still going to try, right?
Okay. Hold. Okay.
Oh, I stop.
Okay, so 1 lower.
Yeah.
Should must be
Okay, go.
Stitch. Hey.
2.
1 first.
1. 2.
And stop. Hey, bien. So u2 uamba. Bakula rhythm. Awesome. 2.
The second step, guys. Let's go.
It's 1 2 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. Hip bump. Hold.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I want you to catch a very good instruction here. When we're doing it, when he says ibambe, that means hold it. Then we stop, okay?
Then we sizoya ke go 4 u4.
Yeah.
Or u3. 1 2 3.
Oh, it's 1
2 3. Yeah. So keep the same rhythm.
We're gonna use
1
the same
2
rhythm.
3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Hip bump. Hey. Sorry. Then now we're gonna go force it.
Oh wow, that's great. Okay, so we're gonna try to do everything. He's gonna instruct us on how we're going to do it. So remember, listen to his chants. When he says ibambe, you stop. When he says 1, we go with the same thing.
Okay.
Teach us, master.
Substitution.
So start with the rhythm.
1 1 2 2 3. 1 2 3. First.
Oh, I stop.
Okay, so 1 lower.
Yeah.
Must be go kabel.
Okay, go.
Stitch. Hey.
2.
1 first.
1 2.
And stop. Hey, bien. So u2 uamba. Bakula rhythm. Awesome. 2.
The second step, guys. Let's go.
It's 1 2 1 2. 1 2. 1 2. Hip bump. Hold.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I want you to catch a very good instruction here. When we're doing it, when he says ibambe, that means hold it. Then we stop, okay?
Then we sizoya ke go 4 u4.
Yeah.
Or u3. 1 2 3.
Oh, it's 1
2 3. Yeah. So keep the same rhythm.
We're gonna use
1
the same rhythm.
2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Hip bump. Hey. Sorry. Then now we're gonna go force it.
Oh wow, that's great. Okay, so we're gonna try to do everything. He's gonna instruct us on how we're going to do it. So remember, listen to his chants. When he says ibambe, you stop. When he says 1, we go with the same thing.
Okay.
Teach us, master.
Substitution.
So start with the rhythm.
1 1 2 2 3. 1, 2, 3. What's 1, 2, 3. What's 1, 3. Bambe. Hold.
Yes, man. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you were definitely doing it. I don't want to have to be doing it alone. I hope you guys are doing it at home. So now that we have learned that dance, I think we're gonna give you something, a last performance, something special just for you guys, and we'll call it a day. All right.
Marimba, Gambu dance. I hope you got up and tried some of those dances that are being taught. I know I got it. Right? Earlier, I introduced an amazing friend of mine, Juliet. He played the guitar. I know, amazing, amazing. And many of you were just like, whoa. So you know, he'll be back. He'll be back. But right now, I've got another friend. I've got many musician friends. I've got another friend who's coming on to give you an amazing show. She's an amazing drummer, world-class drummer. If I could pick a drummer 100 times over, I think I would pick 100 times over. So, introducing you to Sarah, the drum guru, coming up right now. Hey, Sarah! Hello. A couple of, technical difficulties, but we're working through them. But while doing that, we've got my friend right back to continue with that awesome, amazing music. Jeanette, you ready, man?
Yes, brother. Thank you so much for having me back again. I was Sarah was
Please
incredible, wasn't she?
Sarah was amazing. The sound was playing a bit of a hide and seek. So we're fixing that, and as soon as we have it working properly, we'll have it back on. But in the meantime, hey, there's no drop in quality. Right back to you.
Thank you. I absolutely loved her shirt too, Bazinga, because I have exactly the same shirt. I was actually thinking of wearing the same shirt, but then they would have they would have said, we might have had some sort of like a demo.
You see the shoe. You should see the shoes.
I love those. Oh, that's amazing. Again, thank you so much for logging on and watching, everybody. And I would like to say thanks to our officials, and all the messages that they give is incredible. And Bardish also, I want to say hello to Bardish as well, a good friend of mine. And I would like to play a song for you guys. I'm actually going to sing a song for you, if that's okay with you. I'm preparing my voice. This song is basically just to give the message to everybody about always standing by each other, because we are a family. We're a huge family, and I hope that you will like this one. This is actually originally a Ben E. King song, and he was an incredible musician and songwriter, and it was written in the 1950s and covered by probably thousands of artists in the world, and I'm one of those thousands, and I hopefully I'll do it justice in the mid 400s spaces. Anyways, this is one of my favorite songs. When the night has gone and the rain is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. In the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall. All the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no. Shed a tear just as long as you stand by me. Everybody, come on. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. There you go, guys. I'm gonna look. Oh, thank you, Umu Navia. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike Morris. Thank you. Thank you, Fidelia. Thank you so much. It gives me goosebumps. Thank you. I appreciate that. This next song I'm going to play is another song that I would like to dedicate to lovely Africa. It's called Yakamos. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fidelia. Thank you. And
that was an awesome guitar playing from Juliet, and thank you so much. And hopefully we'll get a little bit more after this discussion we're about to have.
Sounds good. It was wonderful guitar playing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So
Absolutely, I would if given a choice, I would listen to Juliet music every weekend.
the list of musicians that you like is piling up because yesterday was Errol, today is Jeanette. So I don't know.
I mean, our local talent is amazing. Waterloo region is amazing talent.
Absolutely.
So if you just take the time to listen, you're like, okay, hold off the rest of the musicians. Just concentrate on Waterloo region for a minute, you know?
And I think that's part of what we try to do here at Bring On the Sunshine is just showcase the talent that is within the region. Yes, we've gone international and shown you some stuff from Africa, but we've also worked hard to connect with local artists and local vendors. So please do go on to Hopin and visit some of the vendors. You know, like during COVID, people are struggling to keep their businesses afloat. So please go to Hopin, check out the vendor space, and get in touch with some folks there. There's other things going on there, education. Alan and I have put in a lot of work in the education part. So
Education, yes, please take a trip into it. And also there is the art gallery. Make sure you take time to go in there. But you know, there's something we're not really saying a lot of, and I think we should.
what is that?
Let your friends know
Absolutely.
that you're watching Bring On the Sunshine.
Absolutely.
Let them know, send them the link, send them all this, invite them to come and watch with you.
And you know what? This is the great thing having Hopin because, you know, we've had some technical difficulties on the stage today. But if you're in Hopin, you can forget the stage and actually just go experience all the other aspects of this festival because really the stage is only one part.
That's a tiny
little part of all the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the next part. I am not sure if I'm prepared, but I am excited.
I think in all honesty, the preparation was in just being born.
I hope so because as we can see, I don't have a script. I don't have a piece of paper, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to introduce some friends. We're going to be joined by a couple of friends of ours. We're going to have a discussion with us on some of the things that are important to us as Black people in the world, in the region, just as Black people. So
as we've been saying since I think the festival started, we have a theme. Black history is world history. Black history is African history. Black history is Canadian history.
It's just history.
It's just history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So now we are going to have this discussion, and it focuses on Black history and migration and where we are now and where we may be going. And this is all up in the air, up for discussion. And we have amazing people here joining us to have this discussion. And I'll let Alice introduce.
Well, I might actually let them introduce themselves. I will just cue them up. So the first one I will introduce is Jean-Claude JC. So, I've connected a lot with JC in this year. I mean, it's not a long year yet, but it feels like I've known JC for quite a while now. JC, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me okay? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Sorry.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, perfect. Yes, my name is Jean-Claude Mutuku, and I'm very honored and privileged
You want
to
to
be
just
sharing.
introduce yourself?
Yes. I was saying my name is Jean-Claude Mutuku, and I am here representing the African Canadian Association of Waterloo Region. I'm very honored to be on this stage. I'm originally from the DRC, but now I call Canada my home, and I'm very happy to be sharing this afternoon with you all.
Awesome. Thank you, JC. And the next lady, I just met her, but I heard her speak and I thought, this sounds like someone I want to listen to talking. Nicole, how are you today?
Hi, I'm well, Alice. So I'm Nicole Brown Faulkner. I'm founder of Wounds to Wings. I'm a registered psychotherapist out here. I'm also a trauma consultant. And I do a lot of activist work for the unspoken and the silence in the area and, well, in Ontario now, because we're all virtual. So yeah, that's who I am and that's what I do.
Perfect. Next up, we have Lanois. See, Lanois, I think I remember him before he remembers me. So I think it was last year or the year before, I don't know, when he was in the Hugh Burnett play and Bob actually hosted that. So I watched him night after night, and I don't know, I was kind of invisible to him.
Oh yeah, I remember. He's an amazing actor.
You're too kind. Yes, Lanois Carroll Woolery, born and bred in Jamaica, came to Canada for university and met my lovely wife here, and I've lived here for the last 28 years in the city of Waterloo. I'm currently president of the Caribbean Canadian Association of Waterloo Region.
Thank you, Lanois. And last but by no means least is Marlon, who we met at the event we did at Conestoga College. How are you, Marlon?
Not too bad. Nice to see everybody today. Just a quick bit about me. I am a professor at Conestoga College. I teach in supply chain management. I got wind of everything going on just through a student-led discussion about, with Black history and everything like that. And there were some interesting points that were brought up by Bring On the Sunshine Committee. So we had an enlightened conversation about it and just hope to continue. A bit about me. I am of Jamaican and Trinidadian descent, Canadian born, and I now live in the Kitchener-Waterloo region and just look forward to the discussion.
Thank you. So, I mean, Alan and I didn't introduce ourselves, but I'm assuming everybody knows who we are by now. I mean, I haven't been on today, but I was on all day yesterday. But either way, if you don't know, my name is Alice. I'm the director for Bring On the Sunshine. And
my name is Alan, or you can call me Tichawana. And I'm a director of Bring On the Sunshine as well. And this is a discussion that has been long. That is one discussion that we should have had since a long time, and now that this discussion we're having it's I think one that we'll have for long.
Can you tell them what discussion we're about to have?
I know, but I'm trying to get everybody super excited, just wondering what we're going to talk about. All right, our discussion today is Black history and migration. Where to now? Basically, that's it. We are speaking Black history, we're speaking Black migration in whatever form that is, and how and where we are today, where we might go. Our history as Black people, we have come a long way. Migration, there was the initial movement worldwide, and then there was the slavery part, which is forced migration, and then there is a migration that has followed after slavery. So there's, I would say, 3 different facets of migration that have occurred. And in discussing these, obviously there are different layers. We're going to touch on these issues and try to go in some points deeper into them, and some I'm pretty sure we will leave for discussions that will carry on as time permits or into the future. Because like I said, I think this discussion is for a long time to come still. Right. So starting off, I would like to say, or I would pose this and throw it out to the panel and say, after introducing yourself like you have done, what is your first thought when you think about Black history, and what does this month mean to you, and how does it all come together based on where you originate from and where you are now?
I was going to ask who's going to go first. I don't think we talked about this part. So I don't know.
I think I'm going to do mini, money, more and land on Marlon.
Marlon, did you want to go first, please?
Sure. From the top of my head, I would say, Black History Month just gives me a time. I mean, we celebrate Black History Month and we live it every day of our lives. But I think this month it's particularly important to celebrate the accomplishments of the African Caribbean diaspora as it relates to its contributions to everywhere that we've gone to. Some of the things that I think about as it relates to this conversation, especially when we look at the many areas that and many parts of the world that we come. A lot of us are first generation Africans. You may have came here direct, and or more importantly, your ancestry may not have been as broken as, for example, myself in the Caribbean. I can't go past my great grandparents on either side of my family. Whereas I'm sure many first generation Africans, you're able to probably go a little bit further back with your lineage. And the reason I mention that is just to highlight that, in rectifying our differences and moving forward, that we do have to have the discussion about where our ancestry comes from, and the fact that some of it was broken, because having broken ancestry leads to your identity and sense of self-worth as you approach life. And myself being a teacher as well, seeing first generation African students at the school and their kind of demeanor and outlook on life compared to students that were like myself of Caribbean descent, there's a different outlook to life. There's different burdens per se that are manifested in each of our lives. And it's worth exploring those issues to see how they impact our thoughts and approaches to life in general. And by looking at those kind of conversations, it allows for a moment of understanding, but also for those affected to get past it and be able to move forward. So I'm just looking at it from that Caribbean perspective, because that's what hits me in comparison to the diaspora as a whole. That's my opening statement.
You raised a lot of good points, and I want to come back to those. But first, let's get JC's take on it.
Thank you. So for me, Black History Month really is an invitation. It's an invitation for me as a Black African guy who was born in the DRC. It's an invitation for me to participate and to occupy public spaces without feeling marginal, without feeling like, it's just a good invitation for me to say, well, you belong and you can occupy this space with great pride by learning about what people like me, people who look like me have contributed. I think adds to that pride and the sense of, I belong because some of my people did contribute to the building of this great nation that we call Canada, for instance. And then to society, it is an invitation for us to learn about the Black contribution. It's an invitation for me to learn about, a friend like Marlon, who is, from Jamaica and is trying to, let's say, maybe connect those lineages and stuff like that. It's an invitation for me. And I'd also like to touch on the fact that there is always, I've grown as a student here, and there are always kind of like division in terms of why Black people only, why can't we celebrate XYZ? And there is that sense of, some people feel excluded, and that's why I want to re-emphasize that this is not just about Black people. It's an invitation of all of us to come and learn about what the Black people have contributed, but also to send a sense of affirmation for those people who may feel marginal. For a student who sees TV every day and he or she never learns about their history, it's an affirmation that, you belong and you can celebrate and participate in this whole big table called Canada. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, JC. And yeah, again, we'll come back to some of those comments. And Nicole, what do you think about?
Well, for me, Black History Month means for me, you know, as I think about it here, kind of on the spot, but I think that it means a moment actually to feel visible and seen. But I also hold like the feeling on my body of being visible and seen, that it might also come with an array of feelings, you know, that's attached perhaps to like my body story, the body history of our migration. And so as I say that, I'll say it's also a time of grief. And, you know, it can, you know, being Canadian Jamaican, you know, we grieve in different ways. Like it can be about joy, and there's a lot of celebration that I witness and observe. But also grief can be collective grief too, and that can come from like held memories, or also a disconnection from my African heritage and the displacement of it. I don't really know where I really belong, other than being Canadian Jamaican per se. So for me, I think Black History Month means a moment to be, you know, seen and visible for a moment, and also a moment of grief.
Thank you, Nicole. Lenoir?
Hi, Alice. Thank you. I think I'm a very family-centered person. I put a lot of energy and a lot of time into my family. I have a wife and 3 children, all born in Canada, and I believe very deeply, very strongly in strengthening families. And so for me, Black History Month is about extended family. It's about community, right? It's about meeting other Black or African or Afro-Canadian families in the region, in Canada, really, and connecting with them. We used a phrase last year at our Black History Month launch event, and we said, you know, get connected, get involved, get engaged, you know, and that was for the community. And that's what I try to do Black History Month, just to reach out in a very purposeful way to other Blacks in the community, and to work with them and to learn from them and to celebrate from them, because we are an extended family here in Canada. We are, you know, an important community, and we need to recognize that and be intentional about building that community.
Thank you, Lenore. I think in just reflecting in everything that's been said so far, for me, what really stands out is how important this conversation is, because a lot of the times we are stuck in our little corners as Caribbeans, as Africans, as you know, we have these split experiences, and we don't often get to sit together and reconcile those stories to make them into really one story. And so I think that's kind of where my passion is, or what sticks out to me in this conversation. Alan, what do you think?
You know, I was just, as you can say, I'm just jotting down some stuff, because there's some amazing things that I'm hearing from you guys, and some points that I'm just noting for myself. What stands out to me are the migration stories, and in that migration, people traveled with their cultures, people traveled with their beliefs, their religious systems, and those still exist today. Those survived the period of major subjugation, the period of being denied self. And when we get to those parts that in some aspects it's called voodoo stuff, or in some aspects it's so-called dark stuff, but those are the things that we brought and that we experienced on the African continent and still exist today. And if we look at those parts that exist today and we connect them back, the migration story comes out. So Black History Month for me says, let's dive deep. into who we are. And in this period, everyone is focused to speak about the history. Now it's time to push it so the history is spoken about all year round. And this is the opportunity for that, having guys coming in and we sitting down and having a discussion, and we can pick it up every so often. So that's what it means to me, an opportunity to get past just.
Absolutely. And so, like, I just want to ask our panelists as well, like, in your opinion, with the migration that we've all faced in different aspects, what the impact is on us as Black people, on us as a society, on, you know, what has personally impacted you, or has it, or does it even matter? I'll start with Lenoir.
Thanks, Alice. As I mentioned before, I was born and raised in Jamaica, spent my first 18 years there. And I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of visiting the Caribbean, Alice, or Alan, but it's really a melting pot. It really is. And so when we talk about migration here as African persons, this is something that all Caribbean people have dealt with for their entire lives. You know, I was on a chat with my high school classmates. You know, I graduated 30 odd years ago, and many of them on the chat, on the WhatsApp chat, were talking about their ancestors in China and in India, because that's just the nature of the Caribbean. So migration is just a fact to those of us who come from the Caribbean, and we've just grown up with it. And my wife is from Trinidad, and you know, to give an example, Trinidad is perhaps one of the most mixed countries in this hemisphere in terms of racial diversity. It's 45% persons of South Asian heritage, Indian, 45% persons of African heritage. And then, you know, they have Chinese immigrants as well, persons from Syria, Lebanon, Europe. So it's not as, I'm so used to the migration story, and I have been used to it from the time I was a little boy, that it's not necessarily as significant for me personally as it might be to someone who may have grown up in Canada. So I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, answer my question. I just have a follow-up question on that. How do you, like, being, obviously, as you mentioned, you're more familiar with the migration story. How does it translate to the oncoming generations in terms of finding their identity as, you know, based on their heritage, or as a Black person, or, you know, how does it shape our youth? Or you're a father, like, does it have an impact, or can you?
It does have an impact, but I would say that I would qualify it by saying, I started the conversation by saying I'm very family oriented. So I believe that the family unit, whatever the history is or the culture of the family unit, is preeminent, that nuclear family. And then if your children or if you as an individual is grounded in your family, the persons who live within the four walls of your home, to me, that's about, you know, 2/3, 3/4 of what matters. The other piece of it that matters, that goes back generations, or we talk about great-grandparents and grandparents and so on, that also matters. But I think it's secondary to what's happening within the home. So I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, I did a DNA test, and I found out that 68% of my genes can be traced to Nigeria. And that was very exciting for me. And 12% Sierra Leone, 8% Kenya. So, you know, I was very excited to discover that. And I was having lunch with a friend in a restaurant, and he's from Nigeria. And when I told him, he said, yes, when I looked at you the first time, I did not believe that you were not from Nigeria, because you reminded me of a tribe that I interacted with in Nigeria. And I said, you're joking. And he said, no. He said, I would love to take you to Nigeria, and you will see people who look just like you. And that was very, you know, heartwarming, very touching for me, very exciting for me. You know, and I hope to visit one day, but my core values, my core beliefs come from my nuclear family, from my mother and my father and my sisters, and that's what I hold on to, and so that is my perspective. Sorry, just heard the doorbell here. I'm going to mute for a second.
That's okay. Marlon, do you have comment on that?
Overall, I guess the only thing I would really add at this point, looking at myself again, I'm Jamaican and Trinidadian heritage. One of the things that I had to be cognizant of growing up was understanding the colonial past and its impact on the generations that preceded me, and also how that influenced my first onlook at life. So depending on, on my Jamaican side of the family, I've had, there's a lot of isms, let's call it, that affect people of the Caribbean nation. There's the classism that takes place, colorism that takes place. All of these things are legacies of colonial past that impacted the people that ended up in the Caribbean. And as a result, those colonial trains of thought became dominant in the thoughts of the people who were in charge within the Caribbean, as well as all the people that were part of the diaspora. And as the immigration took place, so for example, think about Black African people that were descendants of the Caribbean that would have had 2 or 3 generations of parents who were recent descendants of slaves, who direct recipients of a colonial regime. So that's impacted their life. They were infused with all of the ideologies of the colonial masters and everything, and made to indirectly and directly feel subservient to them. Now then you have that psychology. It's passed down to the kids. The kids think that they have to perpetuate the same thing, so on and so forth. Then those kids come here to North America. And in North America, now they're bombarded with another colonial legacy ideology that they have to make sense of. And, myself as a father, one thing that I have to be very conscious of is the fact that if I am passive towards what is being taught to my children in school, if I am passive and not cognizant towards what has been told to me in my past from that colonial history, it could easily pass on to my kids, and my kids could very easily take a very subservient look at themselves towards society, as well as towards the endeavors and their place in it. As a result, it is a duty that I have as a parent, as a father, and also as a fellow brother and sister to all of us in the diaspora, to make sure that we are aware of where we came from and the problems that resulted from that, and not to accept them as some celebrated legacy. One thing I could think of, for example, even this is something that exists in mainland Africa as well as parts of the Caribbean. Let's look at, for example, the Westminster system, the judicial system. You have Black people that look like you and I that wear white wigs in the courtroom. So and they protect this from one generation to the next, even though a lot of these countries and regions have already claimed independence from their colonial masters. So if we are truly independent from our colonial masters, why would some of us in those societies decide to hold on to that legacy when all it promotes is social order and colonialist regime, and perpetuates into the minds of everybody that sees them an indirect feeling that us as Blacks, we still have some type of inferiority because we're wearing the wigs, the hair of white masters from our past. So I think about those kinds of things, and all of that to say, it brings me back to what I speak to and make sure that my children are exposed to on a regular basis, because I have to make sure that they are equipped and aware of what their history is, about where it was broken, and what they have to do to repair it and where we're at now, so that they don't perpetuate any of that broken lineage, any of that colonialist look at things from the past. I have to make sure that they can move forward with almost a fresh slate at this point. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, and that's so true. As you're speaking, first I'm thinking, you're describing a child who grows up in Africa and the colonialism, and I'm thinking, you're describing me, right? Like we grew up, Alan and JC, I don't know if you guys have the same experience. We grew up in the colonial system, so we understand that system very well. We were taught it. Marlon, you said, how do they decide to wear those wigs? The only thing I want to say to that, it's not even a decision, because you were so brainwashed into believing this is what it should be. You don't even know that you are continuing this cycle of colonization. So you brought up so many points that I thought, oh, this is so interesting, because I can see myself in that story, which is why I'm passionate about having these discussions. I don't know, Alan, could you relate?
Yes, I would love to jump into that, especially when we're talking about the white wigs and all that stuff. You touched on something that is so. It just shows the insidiousness of colonialism and how far, how deep it went. When you can find 40 years later people wearing like wigs that represent the white colonial masters. You are so on point, man. But while we're at it, this also speaks to the mental pressures that are tied to migration, to skin color, even to the names and belonging, and even the wearing of wigs. There's some kind of pressure that's going on in the mind. And I was wondering if Nicole, we could maybe touch on that, because that's something you could maybe enlighten us on.
Well, I'm just thinking in my mind too, like listening to, thank you, Marlon and Lenoy. It makes me think of like, how do we know who we are if we don't know who we are? And I think for me, like, being Canadian Jamaican, and I know even Alice and I, we had a brief conversation, and like I'll say that I don't really like, what's my mother language? I don't know. Like, what's my custom? Like, what's my clothing? Like, what's my root? And most of what I was taught about my Black body was told to me. Like, the story's told to me. Like, you're Jamaican, but this is the story. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel that there's a displacement in it, and it creates a them and us, even in our history. Like Lenoy shared that. He was told not too long ago that he was 68% Nigerian and all that. And that's what I mean. Like, it's a melting pot, but what's our root? And if our story's in our DNA, and I have 4 children, and I pass this on and on, like, what am I telling them, or what are our roots, And I think because of our migration, it actually left many fragments, like many fragmentations of like who we are, to even put ourselves back together. Like, even if I would have attended this festival last year, I would have thought to myself, like, maybe I won't attend because I don't know if I identify as African. Should I? Like, I feel guilty. Then I'm like, well, where do I go? Like, I don't know, right? And so it's I think it's left this inability for us to integrate, right? Which gives us all these things of how we've learned to protect ourselves or to create our families within ourselves, but we're still fragmented, you see. And so, like, how come we can't have a sense of wholeness because of that? Why can't I go to my grandparents and understand where my roots came from, so I can share it to my children who are adult children now? Like, things like that, right? So I don't know. With all that said, I really just want to add on onto both comments, because I really hold that, we're just carrying our traumas around with us, like this migration story, and I think that it keeps us foreigners in our body, foreigners to our homeland. Like, if we come from Africa, we were migrated, like kidnapped from there, and we could never return there. Like, we're never gonna know. We're like just homeless, like walking around in the culture that we were given, because my parents were born in Jamaica and then came here and had us, like, do you see? And so Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I'll save that. Those comments to add on. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Like when I listen to you all the time, I keep thinking, it's these conversations when I, as an African, get to sit with a Caribbean. I feel like we can actually start to heal each other because again, I think Nicole and I spoke about this before. There's spaces where I don't feel like I should talk because I feel guilty or I feel like this is the wrong thing to say. So creating these spaces where we can have open and honest conversations with each other as Black people from different backgrounds allows us to start to heal. JC, we haven't given you an opportunity to speak. Did you have thoughts?
Wow, I'm just sitting here and taking it all in. And first of all, I really do appreciate the fact that we have this platform where we have the opportunity to talk about what we feel inside. Right? And as an African, believe me, like there'll be some points, especially when you start learning about history and you read it, like, oh man, these are relatives and stuff, right? And I'm not saying that Africans don't have their own, I mean, we have like some, yeah, history is quite bad down there. I mean, just colonialism and all that. But just like Alice said, this is an opportunity for us to really sit down and validate each other's story and say, you know what, yes, this is how I feel, and it's painful, and I get the opportunity to hear from you. So together we can, just create this place, a safe space for us to start reconciling. Because I feel like there is a reconciliation to be done, even between ourselves, because of those broken, systems. So we can, build onto that extended, family, like Lana was saying. We really need to say, first of all, we're comfortable with each other and we know how we feel inside. And I feel like this platform is a really good opportunity. I'll just have to say a little bit up. As a student back in university, I used to live in residence, and this is actually where you see this play, because Africans from Africa, African students, they will chill with African students only. And then you'll have a Torontonian, Jamaican, kind of like, Blacks as well, chilling with their own people. And for me, I used to be a resident assistant to a Don. And sometimes it will really kind of like, it will bother me a little bit. I'm like, how come we're not chilling together? How come we're not celebrating each other? And I think by, first of all, affirming the fact that, being Black is good, that's a very good place to start. Or if you identify as Black, having that African root also is a good thing to start. From there, we can start, having conversations with the, hope of healing and, creating this cohesion at some point. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I was going to say, I wanted to touch on the guilt that I think Nicole and Alice were alluding to. I think some people may not understand what you mean by guilt, either be it as diasporic African, which is, or the one who is born and bred in Africa. So if maybe we could touch a little bit on that, ladies, just on the guilt part that exists. That's part of the reconciliation, part of learning, right? Understanding. So
yeah,
between the two of you.
So I want to say Nicole's the one who named it for me, because I just expressed my how uncomfortable I was, and she put a name to it, which really is what happens when we start the healing process, I think. So Nicole and I were having a conversation. What were we? We were talking about this idea of rootedness. That I, as an African who was born in Zimbabwe, I understand that I'm from the Shona tribe. I have some of the cultures, some of the traditions from the Shona people passed down in my lineage. So I have that history. And for me, like sometimes I sort of feel, this is what I can share with my Caribbean brothers and sisters, but I don't want to be presumptuous in saying, this is what you need. You need that connection back to the motherland. And so, which is kind of where Nicole said it's because you're guilty. You're guilty for having, for my heritage, having stayed in Africa, and I having that privilege of not having my ancestry, not having the slavery. Did I explain it right, Nicole?
Yes, you did. Yeah, it created a them and us, and so I named it. I tend to be good at that, to bring us back in harmony together, because something happened in our conversation where you moved back, and I said, no, sister, come. Like, it's us, and we are sharing something here. And so if we were in a community and speaking, it's like, okay, Nicole, you go first, because this is your history, but it's ours.
Yeah.
You see, that's the guilt. And the guilt and shame actually are two emotions that are embodied emotions, which mean even if we know it or not, we're walking around with this feeling on our bodies, which keeps us a separateness, and it keeps the fragment. And so these discussions are really important because it actually begins to harmonize it. So then I can hear from Marlon and Lanoy and JC, and we kind of bridge, and Alan and Alice, and begin to bridge. Do you see? Because otherwise we stay kind of siloed in our fragment, and a lot of things happen back here, okay, with us, and whatever, they project a certain thing, and we're already walking around with these visceral bypasses that move through us on a day-to-day. And so if we can name it, talk about it, it'll be to our advantage. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. And I think just to add on to some of the divide that happens as on the African continent or as Caribbeans is that, when colonialism came, they were putting borders where there was no borders, right? There's now Shona people in Zimbabwe, and there's Shona people in Malawi, and now, there's Ndebeles in Zimbabwe, there's Ndebeles in South Africa. These were one people who were divided, and even amongst the Shona people, what colonization did is also divide between the Shona people and say, well, these Shonas are better than these guys and these ones. And so they start to rewrite our history for us and create that divide amongst us in one country, in one tribe. And so I think as Africans, having seen that play out, I also see that on a world scale, where now as Caribbeans, as Africans, as Zimbabweans, the white story or the colonization story, the slavery story starts to tell us, oh no, Caribbeans and these guys are better, these guys are different, and it's not our story. It's the story that we've been told as our history, which is not the truth, right? So,
Nicole, you touched on something that I just wanted to go back on. Them and us, and I think you said it as well, Alice. Them and us. That is the underlying principle that has kept us where we are. We have managed to divide. And this them and us has been created, and we keep running with it. Instead of just seeing each other and just seeing each other for being, like Ubuntu teaches us, I am because you are. So just naturally, you are me and I am you.
Yeah.
That was expunged, like literally killed from us to the point where we see separation. And the ladies did amazing in bringing up that guilt thing. It was being made to feel guilty for not doing something you could not have done anything about anyway is a way of keeping somebody subjugated. That's a main form of mental control.
Mental slavery.
Yes, it comes back to what Marlon was saying. I want to come back to you on the weeks we were talking about. It's that, again, brokenness, that's them and us. Now, when the so-called independence comes around, we, the same black people, wear those robes, and then we want to make ourselves better than. Because that them and us says if you're at this stage, you are better than the ones that are at this stage. And that's what, to me, we still keep going through. Maybe, Marlon, we could come back to you and we talk about this brokenness that we're still dealing with today and that we're dealing with as fathers. Marlon, you're a father. Lanois, you're a father, so am I. So these are things that we're dealing with in trying to stop it from going on to our sons and our daughters. Right? Can you speak a little bit to this brokenness that exists as in the black society?
Well, it's hard to speak to the brokenness because, again, I am the byproduct of that broken lineage. So, for me, really what it comes down to as it relates to my children and others that are kind of in the same boat is to be purposefully aware and also to be purposefully active in making sure that you are aware of what you are feeding into your kids and what's been taught to them. From myself as a Caribbean person, because one of the issues when you have a big diaspora that's already been broken in so many different ways is that you're going to encounter relatives, other people, other Blacks within the same walks as you, who carry these syndromes with them and have perhaps adopted them, have made them one with themselves, and so they're perpetuating that. They're giving that to society, whether it's a form of inferiority complex or something else along those lines. And if we are not aware, in terms, especially with these generations, as you're looking at, kids that are 2, 3 generations, 4 generations removed from a lot of the major civil rights activism and a lot of things that have gone on. There's a lot of students there's a lot of children in general that don't understand what Martin Luther King were doing, what all these other leaders in history and on other parts of the world were really trying to do. They're disconnected from it. And then when you throw in pop culture and everything that's thrown on today, where they've now taken all of these things, distorted it to today, if there isn't any central look at seeing what is embedded into these children, they can get a very distorted sense of their history and then perpetuate that as fact going forward. And it could lead into the way that they carry on with their lives. So for me, I guess the main thing is to make sure that you're consciously aware of what's being fed into your children, and that their self-identity as a Black person is protected and championed and not discussed in a context of slavery or any of these other negative connotations that they would then go and run with, because then that's what they take in their relationships with other people. That's what they take in their regards of themselves towards, employment and other aspects of their life. And that's what you don't want. A lot of it really starts with how you see yourself first. There's a saying that I heard the other day, and it's a very simple saying, and it goes with social media and a lot of things today, but I think it's also really telling for what we're discussing right now. It's one, in terms of wider society, as Black people, there's one thing to be liked, and there's another thing to be respected. And many of us, living through everything that's gone on with the protests, Black Lives Matter movements and everything in the summertime, you had to pick sides. You had to see where a lot of people that may not look like you, where they stand. People see what performative allyship looks like. People see what, people that are jumping on bandwagon at your expense, what that looks like. And then we're still left holding the bags after all of the dust is settled. Do we want to be liked, and do we want to choose a message going forward that is appealing to the masses? Or do we want to be respected and say, no, there's something that we don't want to see for ourselves anymore, and this is the message we're going forward with? And then what am I teaching to my kids as a result of that? Are they placating to society, or are they choosing to go forth with respect and loving themselves and demanding that the next generation that comes up doesn't fall into the same trap of what took place in the past with our parents as well as our own generation?
Thank you so much, Marlon. I really wish we could do this all day. I just want to give our panelists an opportunity to put in one final word, and you know what? This is the start of this conversation. We haven't dug deep into anything, but we wanted to be able to spark a conversation in the Black community and just get us talking and start to heal. So I just want to give an opportunity to the panelists. Lenoir, JC, Nicole, if you guys have something that you feel like, I want to say this before we end this discussion.
And just one thing, ending this discussion is like, to my heart, really, because I think this is so important, and we really need this to happen all the time. So I'll leave it up, starting with Lenoir. You've got some words to share with the panel.
Yeah, thanks, Marlon. A lot of really important points, and you're right. There isn't a lot of time to get into this in depth, but to add just a couple comments, I want everyone to understand that the perspective of persons of color who have grown up outside this continent is a lot different than those who have had to deal with what Nicole calls the trauma of being here. And I've seen that in my own family. In my mother's side of the family, I have over 30 cousins. And they're about halfway split between those who grew up in a North American context and those who grew up in the Caribbean. And the confidence of those who grew up in the Caribbean and the sense of self-worth is something that you can clearly see the divide. So for me, for example, growing up in a country where there were Black doctors and Black pilots and Black lawyers, I have no issues with my self-esteem. So what I'd like our viewers to take to heart is a lot of the anger and the frustration and the bitterness that we see and we experience here is unusual. It's unusual and it's not the norm. And one of the ways to try and tackle that, other than with therapy and so on, is to expose yourself to individuals from Africa or the Caribbean who did not grow up with that mindset and understand why is it that they think this way? Why is it that they don't carry burdens on their shoulders? And how can I, to piggyback off what Marlon said, if I'm going to remain here in this country, how can I take those lessons and teach them to my children in such a way that they don't take those burdens and carry it? And my wife and I do it in a different way, I'm sure, than Marlon does. We do it. When they were in primary school, we would go to their classrooms every Black History Month, ask the teacher to be there and present a story on Black History Month. And that was one way in which we did it. But again, I go back to the family. The family is the core unit, and I really want to encourage parents, to use Marlon's word, be intentional about teaching them, giving them self-confidence.
Thank you so much, Lenoir. JC?
Yes, thank you so much. For me, as a member of the African Canadian Association of Waterloo Region, I just want to say, yeah, we want to create a space where, we feel welcome and to, create those bonds and, build those bridges. And we'll be more than, we'll be more than blessed and glad to basically sit down with everyone and, create these conversations and continue them. And hopefully we can, build something stronger together. But again, just to conclude, I want to say, it is okay to be Black, and I just want to tell that to myself, but also I have a young brother who's a teenager and I can hear his frustration a lot of times. And if he's watching this or if he's going to see this someplace, I want to say, it is okay to be Black and we have contributed. Black history is a history of innovation and it's up to us to, start discovering that and coming forward and, be proud of it. That's my goal.
Thank you, JC. Nicole? Nicole?
Okay, here I go. I was muted. Okay. So I'll just piggyback on what was said here, just to add on around like exposure and reframing and exposure to our heritage. Like, for example, like festivals like this and that. So, we're kind of like bringing our bodies in places where we feel seen or held or witnessed in a way. And I think for Black bodies, yeah, for sure. I think that's helpful in regards to reframing a story that was told to us. And I think regardless if where we were ended up after the migration, I think that we've all been told the story. The people who our ancestors who got to stay in Africa and the ones who didn't, I think we were all given a story, and the exposure will help to begin to articulate it, to bring it back together, because we've learned things behind secrecy, shame, whatever, like behind a closed space. But once hearing each other, that might be useful. I also think that these types of responses that we have, and I'm going to just frame it just to kind of give an embodied feeling, like these survival responses, I think they're responses to the impact of what's happened, is so often confused as our identity, like who we are. And I want to make sure, like, whoever's witnessing this conversation, really to just debunk that and just pull that right out of there, because I think these are states of survival responses that we're responding from, and it is not who we are. We are in these types of environments to try to figure out who we are, and then reintegrate back into these spaces. So we're just trying to love ourselves, okay? And we are also trying to create loving spaces so that we can love ourselves back from where we were ripped from, if that's okay to say, okay? So that's what I'll say for now.
I don't even think I need to wrap that up. Like, everybody has been so eloquent.
Marlon, 1.5 minutes.
Like 30 seconds.
What's up?
To close us off.
Look, I think everyone's contribution today is fabulous, and I appreciate. I definitely appreciate all of these, all of the acknowledgments, especially hearing from our first generation Africans. As a Caribbean person, it is really touching to hear the, the feelings towards, others in the diaspora, and to hear, these discussions that take place within our own communities. And again, as I kind of mentioned earlier on at the beginning of this conversation, it's important that we all understand these different perspectives, these historical pasts, not so much that we can continue to celebrate them or perpetuate them, but that we can all decide on a strong path forward. And I just want to, echo what Lenoir said in mentioning that, it does start at the home. It is what you do with your kids that matters. It really does matter what you do within that you have control over. But there does have to be a purposeful awareness and a purposeful look at doing this, because if we're all passive about any of this for ourselves as for the generations that come, this is what allows colonial rule and supremacy and all these other things to come in and take over, and to then feed our kids and give our kids a distorted history. We have to get in front of that narrative. And unfortunate right now, history always is, there's a saying that history is always told by the oppressors, always told by those that are in power. So we have to understand that it is an uphill battle that we are going to be fighting for a while. And it's going to go past our generations, as we're discussing here, right? But we have to realize that the powers that be, because of the system and the systemic way that it is, that they are purposeful in trying to distort our history, to try to turn us, as everybody's mentioned, into us versus them and all of these things, when there's absolutely no need for that. These boundaries that were not there before that are here now. But in order to get over that, we have to make sure that we're aware of what's being purposefully done to us. Because remember, the forces that be are purposeful towards our demise, towards our further disbursement. And we have to be purposeful towards making sure that we rectify that, and that we all collectively find of one voice and a collective way forward. And I definitely agree in the sense that, it's important for us to hear from brothers and sisters of African descent to know, why do you guys think the way that you do? Why do you look at life the way that you do? And adopt some of that. It's important for Africans to hear Caribbean people and the rest of the diaspora to hear our thoughts, to understand where we were broken, where we're coming from, what fed into where we're at today. So again, that we can come forward and decide a collective identity to move forward together.
Thank you so much, Marlon. Thank you to all our panelists. I think only one final thought that I want to stress, we are all African. It is African history. It's Black history. But in that history, there's different cultures. There's different richness in it. And us coming together, it doesn't wipe away the Shona people, the Ndebele people, the Chawas. It is us embracing each other with our differences and the spirit of Ubuntu. In our African cultures, we are so different and so diverse, but we are all taught to respect each other. So we will end this discussion on that note. Thank you to our panelists, JC, Nicole, Lenoir, and Marlon. We've enjoyed having you here. I'm sure our viewers have enjoyed this as well. And please connect with us, connect with Caribbean Association, African Association, and Nicole, as she mentions, she's a therapist as well. Connect with us. Let's continue this dialogue and heal our people.
I would just say, you know how hard it is to find black therapists in the community. So make sure you go looking for Nicole, right? Because you can see her. And above all, Black history is African history. Is our history. It's our history.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the rest of the festival, however long is left.
Go to Hopin. We have a wedding video that's coming up as soon as we are walking off here.
So I think they do need a little bit of context for this wedding video that's coming up. So again, the reason we wanted to show this video, so there are very many, again, we were just talking about colonization and what it changed the judicial system. It's all over.
Culture too.
It's changed cultures, but this video is done in a place called Buganda, one of the few places that still has their queen in place. King and queen. See, I just remember the females. That still has their king and queen in place. So we wanted to showcase one of the cultures in Africa that is not untouched, but still retained a lot of its traditions. Yep. So, and again, it's a light way to see an inside look into what an African wedding would look like in the 21st century.
Yeah, Central Africa, Uganda. So, hey, enjoy.
Enjoy.
Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Omwana wa kabaka Osane n'okudiriza baby Yoya nkuwerewo Ebyange sibirisa yo baby Amanya bampita Lubwama Nva mu lujja lwa Kigozi Ndi muzukulu wa Lubwama Musiga lya Nagaya And you know that you're on fire I'll give you what your heart desire You know that I can take you higher The only one I want till I retire Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Nabaganda ntomonyamonya Owe kumbenze tonumya baby Nandi agadde nkunanika empeta Kasite ebintu tobiwanguya Ndi mwana wa mpisa nze banjulira ndi mukwata mpola njagala kutwaleko mawanga g'ebweru nkuje ku kalo lambuze ensana Days and nights I'll be there for the coldest ones A day in the life you remain the chosen one Through my pain and strife you were supposed to come But you are posted up you are close to none Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka If you're within reach of a dance floor, report. Even if you're at work, man, stand up. Don't worry about your boss. I almost forgot to introduce myself. Now, yeah. Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi babuye ebiraka Jogereza kawala komuku Jogereza kawala kegombye Katula bechi kibabuye biraka njogereza njogereza kawala k'omukulu njogereza kawala kegombye katulabe kibabuye biraka njogereza kawala k'omukulu njogereza kawala kegombye katulabe kibabuye biraka njogereza kawala k'omukulu njogereza kawala kegombye katulabe kibabuye biraka.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Nyabula baba, nyabula nabyo, nyabula. Ade, akalulu. Yeah. Yo, you heard right. No, yo. Yeah, let's go. Njogereza kawala k'omukulu njogereza kawala kegombye katulabe kibabuye biraka njogereza kawala k'omukulu njogereza kawala kegombye katulabe kibabuye biraka omwana wa kabaka osaanye n'okudiriza baby yoya nkuweerewo ebyange sibirwisayo baby amanya bampita lubwama